But we have to watch what we say, because the fact is, God did give us dominion and He gave us the ability to speak over our lives. So sometimes we have to be mindful of what we're speaking over ourselves. For instance, Aladdin's first real wish, because the first wish that he really said, it was kind of it was mumbled, and the genie did it, although he didn't really ask for it. So he gave him another chance. And for those of you who haven't seen Aladdin, the storyline is you get three wishes and that's it. So his first real wish, he had met this princess named Jasmine, and he fell in love with her instantly. But the thing about Aladdin is that he was poor and broke and living on the street. He was what they called a street rat. So he felt that Jasmine could never really want him or fall in love with him or accept him the way he was, because she had such high stature, she had a title, she had riches and wealth, and he just felt like she could never see past the fact that he didn't have those things. So he comes to Genie and he's like, hey, Genie, I want to be a prince. Boom, Genie snaps his fingers, he goes to work, and he just makes him a prince. There's a few things that I want to bring attention to. First and foremost, God loves you just the way you are. So if He loves you, the world can love you. Quit wishing and praying for things based on your exterior and your appearance, because you want people to accept you or because you want to fit in. Learn to love yourself. Learn to love who God created you to be. Because if God can love you, the creator of all the earth, the King of kings, the Lord of lords, the most powerful being that we will ever come in contact with, our God, who created you, who brought us from ashes, from death to life, He's done all of that for you. And He loves you just the way that you are. Not the way that you want to be, not the way that you see yourself, and not the way that the world sees you, but He loves you inside, out, flaws, positive, negative, attributes, strengths, weaknesses. He loves it all. The extra baggage, the emotions, the mentality, the physical appearance. He loves you. So if God loves you just that much, you should love yourself just a little bit more. See, we tend to see things with our fleshly eyes. We see what the world sees. We see what the world wants us to see. But God knows our spirit, and God knows the plans that He has for us. See, in Jeremiah 29:11, He said, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and to give you a hope and a future. God is not just recklessly approving or denying requests from you that's just going to allow you to stumble and fall into a horrible life. He has plans for your entire life. That's what we have to realize. And the fact is, for Aladdin, the genie doesn't have plans for Aladdin's life. Aladdin asks for a wish, the genie grants it. This wish for him to be a prince turned out to be a nightmare, because Princess Jasmine was not even interested in Prince Aladdin. See, he thought that he had to be a prince for her to see the real him and for her to love him and accept him. And in fact, it was the direct opposite. Prince Aladdin, with all his money and all his clout, she didn't want all of that. She had grown up in that lifestyle since she was a child. She wanted no more of that. She wasn't looking for wealth in him. She had her own. She wasn't looking for prized possessions. She had her own. She was looking for someone that genuinely saw her for who she was. The regular Aladdin did, but Prince Aladdin did not. So how quickly he jumped and asked to be a prince, not thinking about the effects of that wish. See, I can even say, in my past, I was in a relationship, and Me, I know y'all have heard me talk about how badly I want to be a mother, how badly I want children. And for a very long time, over 10 years, I had never gotten pregnant. I've never been pregnant. I never was able to conceive a child. And for years, I can't tell you how many nights I cried and prayed, asking God for me to be a mother, asking God to allow me to get pregnant, asking God to allow me to make a family. Times that I became downright angry with God, not understanding. I saw young girls, I saw people that were homeless, that were pregnant, people that couldn't even take care of a child, people that didn't want to take care of their children, people that were murdering their own children. And I would see the world right before my eyes, and I would say, God, why? Why can't I be a mother when all these crazy people can? Why can't I be a mother when there's so many people who don't even want to be, but they are? Because they had no choice. But it's a choice for me. I want to be a mother. Why can't I? But guess what? When I left that relationship, one of the first things I ever thanked God for was not being pregnant and not having a child by Him. You know why? Because now I'm walking in my freedom and I'm not attached to that man. I could pick up my bags and walk off. And I know that me leaving with a child would have been 10 times harder. I would have had to deal with him the rest of my life because that would have been my child's father. My child would have been, oh gosh, I hate to say it like this, but tainted. You know, I know that God has plans for my life and He has plans for my children. And God loved me just enough to not let me reproduce with the wrong person. I mean, really, when I think about it, because I wanted children and for so long I never got pregnant, and then I got sick. And I just really feel like that was God's ultimate protection. He protected me. So if I would have just blurted out a wish and God would have granted it like the genie, where would I be today? Honestly, I probably never would have left that relationship. I probably would have stayed, because you get into that mentality of I'm doing it for the children and I want to give my children the best life, knowing that would not be the best life for them. But I was stuck in that broken mentality back then, and I can guarantee you I probably would have stayed. I probably would have stayed for the children. I would have been trapped. And so God didn't grant me my wish. He didn't allow me to trap myself. He knew that He had more planned for me than what I could see in that position. So I don't want you to get stuck on what you see with your eyes. You see an immediate need or an immediate desire, but is that desire of God? Is that need of God? Or is it something that you just want? Sometimes He's not going to grant us these wishes or give us the answers to these prayers, because these prayers we're praying don't line up with His word, y'all. You've got to be mindful of that. And when you get out of that season where you wanted that so badly, whether it was a relationship or a job or even a home, you want it so badly, and then 6 months down the line you realize, God, that's the biggest mistake I ever made in my life. God protects us. He tries His best. He doesn't control us. He gave us free will to do as we please, but He tries to sway us, to show us